The new year is here, which means we all have goals we are looking to accomplish, whether it be in our personal life or our professional life. And we all recognize that 2024 is an opportunity to do all of those things. But whether we've started off this year really strong or this year has kind of been off to a rocky start, it's going to require us to take the right action steps to achieve it. And it is my desire to see you live out your dream life in 2024. So in this conversation, we're going to be talking about 3 steps that you can take so that way your 2024 can be the best it can possibly be. Welcome to the Dream Lifestyle Podcast, your place to build your faith and master your craft. Before we get going, I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, what are you doing right now to intentionally grow? In this current season of your life, what are you doing to intentionally improve you? And this is important because in order for us to achieve any type of goal, there is a level of being that we must achieve. And that means that we all have areas, we all have blind spots that we need to be able to look at so that way we can improve. Okay. And so I would love to hear from you because, again, this is your 2024. It's your life. And that means that all of us, regardless if we've had a great start to the year or it's been a little bit rough, we need to be able to grow personally to achieve our goals. All right. And in this conversation, I'm just going to be sharing with you just 3 very simple steps that have helped me achieve a lot in my life. But I also believe that it will bless you. So that way it will help you get some clarity around some of the things that you want to achieve. It'll help you achieve some clarity around just the goals that you have. And it'll just give you a higher level of confidence that you're going to accomplish them. All right. And so the first thing is vision. Create a vision. Create a vision. Now, what is a vision? I like to define a vision as just really answering what, how, and why. Okay? What, how, why. Now, let's start with the what. What is where I think people would describe it as dreaming big. And for a lot of us, that's easy to do. But for some of us, that may be difficult. And the reason why it may be difficult is because of point of reference, what you've seen, life experience, who's around you, environments, and everything like that. But you have to be able to first define, what is it that I want? When it comes in the area of my finances, what do I want my finances to look like? When it comes to the area of my relationships, what do I want my relationships to look like? Whether it be romantically, whether it be, business relationships, whether it's friendships, whatever. But you need to be able to just identify, what is it that I want? And this is a step that you have to take, not thinking about or worrying about how it's going to happen. We're going to get to that part. But when you simply think about, okay, what is it that I want? What have I seen? What have I heard about? What have I dreamed of that just intrigues me a little bit? What do I want? And that's the beginning of the vision. That's the beginning of where you're able to create the vision. So if I just see myself owning a company. All right, cool. That's a great what? I want to start a company. Cool. I want a healthy family. I want X number of dollars saved, right? That is the start of a vision. That is the what of the vision. Okay. Now we have what. Now let's go to the how. How is where we need to figure out what is the vehicle that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. Don't be intimidated by this, because there's nothing you cannot do. And because there's nothing you cannot do, and you need to believe that in your heart, it's just a matter of your willingness to go through the process. You will find yourself a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident and operating with a lot more clarity when it comes to your productivity to be able to achieve this how category for your vision. And so when you think about the how, it's a matter of, okay, what habits do I need to do? Do I need to start? What conversations do I need to start having? What friends do I need to start surrounding myself with? This is where we actually get to strategizing. Okay, so you know that your what, we'll use money as an example. You know that your what is, I want to save X amount of dollars. Okay, how do we do that? Well, let's look at our past financial decisions. And now what are some new financial decisions and principles that we can put in place that basically put us on the right path to our success in this goal? Okay, so this is where you say things like, well, I'm just going to start cooking more. I'm going to start saying no more. That's a big one. Saying no is very important when it comes to your vision, because every single yes, there's a no. Every single no, there's a yes. So you want to make sure that your decision making is in line with the goal that you want to achieve, with the vision, that what that you've put in place. Okay. And then the last part, we know the what, we know the how. Now we have to talk about the why. We have to talk about the why. And the why is important because that's where purpose is. And now for us as believers, we don't just do things just because they're available to us. We don't do things just because they're fancy. We don't do things simply because it's on social media and it's trendy. You want to make sure that you are doing things from a place of purpose, because sure, you can save the money. Sure, you can create the plan. You can write the vision and make it plain. But if it serves no purpose, it is of no value. And you want to make sure that the purpose that your vision is serving, you want to make sure that it's serving other people, but you also want to make sure that is fulfilling you. Because how often and how many stories do we hear about, millionaires who live horrible lives? How often do we hear about people who are married and they're in horrible marriages because it's not all that they thought it would be, because they didn't have a strong why. They did the things, they did the activities, but they did not link it to a strong why. And it's my desire for you to live out your dream life in 2024, but it will require you to have a strong why. Because with a strong why, when obstacles come your way, when things get hard, when you don't feel like doing it, you will give yourself that extra push, that extra nudge to do what you have to do. Because again, there are a lot of people who want to accomplish things in 2024. But the one thing that's going to separate the people who want it versus the people who achieve it is execution. And we want to make sure with this step of creating a vision that we are giving ourselves solid foundation to take every single action step necessary to achieve the vision. So when you think about achieving your dream life, achieving your goals in 2024, number one, it starts with a vision. And this vision can come from God. This vision can come from yourself. But you want to make sure that purpose, that why category, does give God glory in some way, shape, or form. Because if you think you're going to go build the big business, if you think you're going to get in shape, if you think you're going to save all the money in the world and God's not going to get any type of recognition from it, I promise you will end up frustrated. Trust me, it won't work. It won't work. So I would encourage you to, one, get very clear on what is it that you want to accomplish. Then I want you to think about how. Okay, not even think I am limitless. There's nothing I can't do. I have a God who backs me and I have already have victory. So just how is this going to get done? What are the action steps? What is the strategy? Then what is the purpose that this serves? How does me accomplishing this help other people? How does me accomplishing this give God glory? How does me accomplish this make me feel really good about me and my life? That's number one. Number one, you have to create a vision. The second thing that you're going to need to do in order to achieve your dream life in 2024 is you need to define success. Oh my goodness, this is when I figured this out for myself, the doors broke open, because you must define success, because it is a long road to get to where you want to go. And if you have the wrong definition of success, you will find yourself burnt out very quickly. If you have the wrong definition of success, you will find yourself frustrated very often. So you need to make sure that you define success properly, and you define it in a way that empowers you. You define it in a way where you can get quick wins right now, as opposed to, well, I'll only be successful when I'm there. I'll only be successful when I hit that number. I'll only be successful when I achieve and accomplish this thing. Because let me tell you, the real success is in the process. The real success is not in the accomplishment. The accomplishment's nice. We like accomplishments. I like accomplishments. I love to achieve things. But the real success that I found is who I've become in the process. And if you need help with figuring out, okay, well, Trevon, how do I even define success? Number one, I think I do believe that it starts with focusing on who you are becoming. All right, your definition of success should involve who you are becoming. And this is where, we're dealing with emotions, but even just a mentality, a mindset. Like, how do you feel when you wake up and look at yourself in the mirror? Are you happy with what you see? Are you proud of that person you see in the mirror? every single day. These are the things that, again, when I think about success for me, when I look in the mirror, I'm proud of me because I know how long and how much work I put in to become this current version of myself. Now I'm excited about, the future. I'm excited about all that will happen. I'm excited about all that God is going to do. But you want to make sure that the definition of success, when you think about, man, like, am I successful? That it does involve a focus on who you are becoming. And then that second half, when you think about defining success, figuring out your own definition for success, it needs to be, well, how are others being impacted? How are other people being impacted as a result of my actions? And that's important because people are paying attention to you. I know that everyone right now has set New Year's resolutions. Everyone's created vision boards. Everyone has, everyone's done all the things that everyone usually does at the beginning of the year. But people are really going to pay attention to the ones who actually execute. People are really going to pay attention to the ones who actually do what they say they're going to do. And so not only do you need to determine, well, am I going to be the person that is going to honor my own word and honor my commitment to self, but are the action steps that I'm taking, is it going to impact the people that are around me? Could be a brother, could be a sister, could be a friend, could be a coworker, could be a total stranger. But when you think about success, you want to make sure that you are leaving people better than when they came. You want to make sure that when people speak to you and they hear your story or they see your process, that they themselves are encouraged to go do the same thing. That's success. There are plenty of times, even with my companies and with this podcast and everything like that, there are plenty of times where I'm like, man, I haven't hit that number mark. I don't have a certain number of subscribers. I don't have a certain number of views and all this different type of stuff. But because I properly define success for this in this space, for me, success was, I like the way I'm able to really articulate my thoughts. I love the way that I'm able to just build my confidence by being in front of a camera and just sharing what I think out into the world. That takes real guts. That takes real confidence, as all my content creators watching know. I was proud of me because of who I'm becoming. But the second part of that piece, why I define this as successful, is because of the stories that I'm hearing from people who have listened to the podcast. Even if they haven't even listened to a whole episode, they just heard a clip and they're like, man, I needed that. Bro, I needed to hear that. You know what? That was right on time with what I needed. And because I heard that, I then took XYZ step to improve my life. That's success. To me, I define success as my ability to help people grow, because I love who I become when I'm helping people grow, because I love doing this. I love just talking, but I love seeing other people discover their gifts and talents and their abilities that God has given them. And not only them just discover the gift and they just put it on the shelf, but where they really get to work on it. That's success to me. Sure, there are numbers. Sure, there are milestones and plateaus and achievements that I want to have and all that type of stuff, accolades and the sort. But when you think about your process for achieving success the way that you want it and the way that you desire in 2024, it is going to require that you have a proper and healthy definition of success. And the third thing that you're going to need to do, so let's just quickly review. Number one, you have to create a vision. What, how, why. Number two, you have to define success for yourself. And then the third thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to set practical goals that lead to success. Practical goals that lead to success. Now, I want to make a distinction quickly here between a practical goal and a realistic goal. The thing about realistic goals that I've never really been on board with is, when you say to somebody realistic goals, it automatically just gives like this negative connotation that, when someone says, oh, we'll set realistic goals, it's almost like they're telling you, they might as well tell you, hey, set a goal a little lower. Like that's a little too high for you, right? Like I just don't like that language. But we do want to set practical goals, because when we think about practical, at least when I think about practical goals, we're talking about simply setting goals with action steps that you're actually going to do. What do I mean? For a lot of you, there's two types of people that I think about when I think about setting practical goals. The first person is you're not setting goals that are worthy of your identity. So that means that you're setting like the low-hanging fruit goals, right? You're setting goals like, I just want to be happy this week. I just want to, it's like almost doing bare minimum goals where you don't really have to challenge yourself in order to accomplish them. Like that you can walk into that goal. I think you should set goals. If you're that person listening to me, you should set goals that are actually worthy of your identity. Set goals that are worthy of your purpose here on this earth. Set goals that actually challenge you to be better, right? That's number one. That's the first person. But the second person, you set so many goals that you end up taking action on none of them. You set so many goals that you end up just wondering, well, I don't know where to start. And so you end up just pointing at, I could start that, 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 could, should, to the point where you're just stuck, where it'll be April or even May or even June, maybe even September. And you're like, there were so many things I should have done and could have done, would have done, but I didn't because there were just so many targets. Set practical goals. Set the type of goals where you know what? I know I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. I will execute on my goals because I know that when I execute on this one goal, it will lead me closer to where I want to be. It will lead me closer to the success that I want to have in this new year. And again, whether you're the first person where you're not setting goals high enough, or you're the second person where you have too many goals, set the goals that lead to success. Set the goals that lead to execution. Set goals that will allow you to live the life that you want to live. And I'm telling you that when you do these things and you really execute on these things and you're clear on all these things that we just talked about, you will find yourself living an amazing 2024. You will find yourself proud of yourself at the end of 2024, whether you even achieve the quote unquote accolade or not, whether you accomplish the goal and the specific, point A, point B, if you reach there or not, you're going to be just so proud of, what? At the beginning of the year, I was here. And whether I really quote unquote hit that number, got that award, whatever, I'm here now. I'm certainly a lot better than where I was. And if you follow this process of number one, creating a vision, getting clear on what you want to accomplish, nothing about how, but just what is it? Getting really clear on what do I want to do? Figuring out that how am I going to get this done? And then why am I going to get this done? What's the purpose behind it? How does God get the glory out of it? How do I feel great about accomplishing this thing? When you get clear on the vision and you write the vision down, then you must then define success. And as you define success, you will find yourself a lot more even keeled. You'll find yourself, you give yourself the ability and the strength to stay stable as you go through the year, through your process, your success process, because you have the right healthy identifiers for what success is. Then when you define success for you in terms of, you're clear on who you're becoming, as well as how your impact on others, right? The definition of success. Then third, you set practical goals. Set goals that you're actually going to execute on. You don't need 15 goals. Get you a solid 3 to 5 goals and give it everything that you've got. Now, I hope that this was helpful to you because I certainly had a blast just sharing these 3 things. This is a process that I myself have personally done and am doing. And I'm very excited about just what 2024 is going to be and everything that we all will accomplish. I'm rooting for you to win. I want you to win. And so here's what I want you to do. Before I get off this podcast, I want you to send this episode to somebody. I want you to share this episode with someone who could use it. Share this episode with someone who is ambitious. Share this with your friend that started the business. Share this with the person that is looking for their promotion this year. Whatever it is, I want you to share this episode with someone because all of us want to go to the next level in 2024. But it will require us all to create a vision, define success, and then set practical goals. And I really hope that, again, you appreciated this episode. As you prepare for next week's conversation, be sure to check out last week's conversation. I appreciate you. Always remember, your dream is possible as long as you are willing to work for it. I'll see you all next week.